to respond to some emails. I've got 2 emails, and first of all, I just want to apologize to the person who sent the first email. It took me so long to get to this email. It was sent to me over 2 weeks ago. And I just feel so bad that it's not getting addressed until now. Because last weekend I didn't do a live stream. The weekend before was the Disability Day of Mourning. So I didn't want to answer emails at that time. Oh. Can I draw fan art about you and send it to you on Instagram? Oh my gosh, send me all of the fan art. Like, oh my gosh. Just send it all. I love fan art. It feeds me. So, to the first email. I have moved into a different room of the house I live at, and things were moved from one room to the other, which is already heavy. But after less than 24 hours ago, my mother cleaned my room and moved everything around. I don't know where everything is, and my ace ring is gone. If you could please address or stress the importance of change to autistic people, people with autism, people on the spectrum, and that this behavior of having someone do this to you or your property is absolutely wrong to do. That it's not a good thing to do. And don't do this. It's not just that autistics don't like change and it can cause a lot of stress, but suddenly not being able to find something can send us into a panic. I know that that's happened to me. I put something somewhere safe. I go to look for it. It's not there. And I go into full-on panic mode that won't stop until I find it. Or I wear myself out. And I just devolve into a crying mess. Not to mention that a major change had just happened, which, with the person who wrote the email, which would have an autistic already on edge. To have things moved around and missing would be more than enough to push someone past the tipping point. If you want to move our stuff or use it or clean it up or just change something in our living space or life, please ask us if it's okay. Don't just go do it without letting us know. So often we have to prepare ourselves for change. And if it happens without any warning, it's so incredibly stressful for us. The only time I would say to do something like this is if the mess in their room or space is generating mold or attracting insects, is some sort of health hazard, and they refuse it to clean it themselves. But in that case, at least tell them you're going to clean it. But if there's no health hazard, there's no other reason to do it aside from you want to do it, then just don't. I don't care how messy our space is. I don't care how much it bugs you. Just let us live in our chaos. What you may not realize is that it may be organized chaos. When I was a teenager, you could barely see the floor of my bedroom, but I knew exactly where everything was. So don't just spring this kind of thing on us, especially without warning. It's stressful. It can be panic-inducing. It's just downright disrespectful. Respect a person's space, even if that person is your child. Everyone, no matter their age or neurotype, they and their space deserve respect. Robbie, what are your thoughts on the Dream SMP? I don't know what that is. The second email, which thankfully hasn't been waiting 2 weeks for a response, says, I'm a really big fan of your comics. They really helped me feel better and proud of the fact that I'm autistic. So thank you for that. Oh, thank you. I have 2 questions. Do most autistic people have a lot of struggle focusing, or is it just me? Also, I too want to start a webtoon series. Do you have any tips? You are really inspirational. First of all, you're incredibly sweet. I really appreciate that. Secondly, struggling to focus is very common with autistics, as well as people with ADHD. I've certainly had issues with focusing on a task. I'll be working on my comic, and I'll find myself switching to something every 5 minutes, or having my mind wander and I just end up staring blankly at my screen.
Or me. Sometimes that can be slightly unsettling when I'm doing something else, look over, and I just have this blank look at me. It's like, oh, yes?
You're just so nice to look at.
I accept the compliment.
If something is related to a hyperfixation, it can be... If something isn't related to a hyperfixation, it can be incredibly hard for me to focus on it. No matter how hard I try, it always feels like a losing battle. So yeah, it's definitely not just you. As for your second question, my biggest tips for creating your own series are: 1. Have a regular upload schedule. People are more likely to check out your work if it's getting uploaded on a consistent schedule. However, make sure that the schedule is something that you can work with. Don't put too much on your plate, but don't put too little on there either. When I started my comic, I only uploaded once a week, but changed that to 2 times a week a few months later because I found that once a week wasn't good enough for me. Find what works for you. 2. Make what you like. If you only create something in hopes that it'll get popular, but you don't like it or you aren't passionate about it, you'll lose interest, and making more content will be such a struggle. Not only that, but if you aren't enjoying it, then your creation could come off as hollow and forced. There are some comics that I've posted that I've known wouldn't get much attention, but I posted them anyways because I liked them. They make me laugh or smile or have a message that I felt was important. Being an artist means putting yourself out there, your heart and soul. If you don't put your heart and soul into your work will have no heart or soul. And 3, this one is incredibly important. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay if there's an error, or you're late with an upload, or you need to take time off. You need to take care of yourself, both mind and body. Self-care is important, and I've found that when you're your own worst critic, it can be easy to get down on yourself, to see your work as not good enough, or to call yourself lazy because you're too tired to create. There are people who look at us artists and creators and see us as laid-back slackers. But this stuff is hard. It can really wear you down. And when it does, take care of yourself. I hope these tips helped, and I hope some people out there learn to not just spring change onto autistics and move our stuff without permission.